One of the most common sports injuries we see is a simple sprained ankle. This either requires medical attention or it doesn't. Hopefully in this video we will kind of talk you through the Ottawa ankle rules that are published by a group out of Canada to help you quickly decide if you need immediate medical attention and an x-ray, or if not, I'll show you a couple of the first exercises that I like to do with some of my sports ankle injury folks to get them started. So this group published the Ottawa ankle rules, and it essentially says, A, if you're not able to immediately bear weight on the ankle and take a few steps, or if you go to the emergency room and you're not able to bear weight on the ankle there and take a few steps, that's already one indication that you might need an x-ray and something is actually injured that needs medical attention. The other qualifier is if you get on the bony ridge on the outside of the ankle and its tenderness to the touch, if you get on the opposite side of the ankle here and it's tender to the touch, or if you got tenderness to the touch on either side of the proximal foot, right? So not here necessarily, but right at the base of your pinky toe, and then flip it around and at the base of the bone that sits right in front of your ankle there, right? So either tenderness here, tenderness there to the touch, tenderness here, or tenderness at the base of the pinky toe to the touch. Those can help you quickly identify if you need an x-ray and need immediate medical attention. Typically, swelling and bruising means something in the area is injured, right? So if you have swelling, if you have bruising, it tells you something is injured, whether that's capillaries and simple vessels, or if it is actual tissue damage. Swelling and bruising does not tell you the extent of the damage or what is damaged. It just lets you know something has been injured, right? So some of those things can help you think through if you don't have access to an athletic trainer or a sports doctor or a PT who can help you kind of talk through these things. You want to get immediate medical attention if you have those things, and if not, you could potentially slowly start some gentle things, but we want to keep it within the pain-free to tolerable ranges, right? So one of the most common things that we start with is a four-way ankle. So you'll hook a resistance band here. Even if you don't have a resistance band, you can do this without resistance, but ideally either with a resistance band. The first one is just a simple gas pedal motion at the foot, and you're trying to keep the band as close to behind the base of the toes as you can. And we do this with what I call a 3-3-3 tempo. So you're going to go out over the course of 3 seconds, you're going to hold for 3 seconds, and then come back over the course of 3 seconds. After you've done forward, you're then going to straighten the other leg, and then you're going to bend this leg, and you're flexing up into that with the same 3-3-3 tempo. You can also hook it around the leg of a chair or a table. Then you're going to go here, and the same thing for E version. So out in 3, pause for 3, back in 3, and then you're going to flip around here and use the other leg to go in 3, hold 3, back 3. And that's your four-way ankle. You're then going to keep your foot flat on the ground. You're going to try to keep your other 4 toes flat on the ground and lift just your big toe and hold. And then you're going to try to push your big toe down and lift your other 4 toes and hold. If you find that one difficult, you might put the resistance band around your big toe, lift up, keep your other 4 toes down, and then push down into the band with your big toe only. Another easier exercise to start with is towel scrunches. So you can sit there and literally just scrunch the towel, and then you try to pick up the towel and even it back out, and then scrunch the towel. Or you could try to pick up the towel and tilt it to the side, pick up the towel, tilt it to the side. The goal here is just to get the intrinsic muscles of the foot working, right, without making the ankle too irritated. So you can play with this, just set a timer for 2 to 5 minutes. You can either just scrunch, you can splay out, you can pick up and turn in, pick up, turn out. whatever it is, just trying to get those muscles working and pumping to increase blood flow to the area. Another thing we commonly do is try to use single leg balance throughout the day with activities of daily living. So at first, if the ankle hurts too much to bear weight on that leg completely, don't do it. Do it with 2 legs, and then the progression is kind of single leg with just your left big toe or your uninjured big toe on the ground, and then eventually standing on one leg while you're washing dishes, preparing your food, brushing teeth, doing things of that nature. You can do it with knee bent or knee straight, whichever you prefer. Just adding in some variety and sensitivity and balance in motion there. Then we're going to go from there into a typical kind of march walk with a heel strike first and then a weight shift, and then march into a heel strike and a weight shift. Once that becomes easy, we're going to work on trying to walk sideways with our ankles off the ground and just the weight through the first half of the foot, right? So you're going to take a small step, you're back to normal, small step, back to normal, and then you're practicing walking sideways with your heel off the ground, which strengthens the foot. You can also do this in a forward kind of diagonal or backwards diagonal motion, just to add some different dimensions of sensitivity to motion. With your ankle in the air, heel has to stay elevated, stay out of pain if you can. And then the last thing would be starting toes straight ahead on flat ground, calf raises. And then once those are not painful, you can either progress that in one of 2 ways. You can either go to single leg calf raise on flat ground, or you could go off the edge of the stair and go from a stretch position with either 2 legs or single leg, so that way you're getting in that stretch. Notice that none of these exercises use a lot of aggressive ankle stretching, just because if we did sprain or strain the ankle, a lot of times it's not wanting to repeat that mechanism of injury, right? Because usually you've kind of rolled it or done something that introduced a little bit of hypermobility momentarily into that ankle. So we're not really aggressively stretching, but we're keeping the active range of motion loose and mobile and full of blood flow while things are trying to heal. Another progression for the calf raises is doing some calf raises with toes out, toes forward, and toes in. You'll do all the toes out one first, then move toes straight ahead, and then do all the toes in, and then return back to that toes out position. And that is kind of a great way to start that process. Another great thing for the ankle is just compression. Ice is not necessarily as beneficial as we once thought, but compression is great. Pumping the ankle frequently is very helpful, whether you're actually doing exercise or not. Just keeping the ankle pumping, keeping it elevated is nice. And then otherwise you can use ice for pain management, but it's not really doing a lot for swelling like we once thought.